It's March 24th, 2008, and we are at Fred Aubuschon's house. Fred Aubuschon is who we are interviewing. His birthday is January 24th, 1922. The people attending the interview are myself, Tamara Gorley, Alicia Crude, Brandon Honchel, Fred Aubuschon, and Maxine Aubuschon. The organization we're working with is Bevel East High School. The war that Fred served in is World War II. The branch was the Navy. His rank was Seaman First Class, and he served in the Pacific Ocean. Were you drafted or were you enlisted?
Drafted.
Can you tell us a little bit about your boot camp training experiences?
It's just regular routine training. I had tread water for 1 full hour. And you have to swim the distance to the swimming pool up and back, which is roughly a block long, so that means about 2 blocks. Then you simulate jumping off the ship with a 50-pound backpack on your back, and you have to tread water, like I said, for 1 full hour. You get up 40 feet on a scaffold when you jump off. And we took rifle practice. The first 2 times I went to rifle practice, I couldn't hit the side of a brick barn. So I tried to tell the instructor that I shoot left-handed. Believe it or not, I'm right-handed, but I've always shot left-handed. So finally he got disgusted with me, and he said, well, if you can hit the target, go ahead and shoot left-handed. So that's what I did. So I was putting them in right on the spot every time.
Do you remember what it was like when you arrived on the ship your first time?
Yeah, there was 22 of us for replacements on the ship. We boarded the ship at, there was a British island called Espiritu Santos in the Pacific Ocean. It was pretty far back out of the water zone. And we worked there, if I remember right, about 2 or 3 weeks till the ship come in so we could get on the ship of unloading ammunition, cargo, and bombs, and storing them in. And that was our monsoon season, so it was pouring down rain the whole time. I choose the Navy, because I could have went in the Army, or I could have went in the Marines, which is a part of the Navy, but I choose the Navy because I didn't like that, seeing my enemy eye to eye. In the Navy, just most of the time they went pretty far out.
Do you have any memorable experiences on the ship?
Yeah. I was never afraid of heights. And we got, well, you can see here, the count tower comes up, and then there's a surface target up there and a big, large radar for aircraft and one for surface craft. And we got a seagull tied up in the top of it. It's in about half round like this. It goes around slow. And needed somebody to go up to, staff to go up to take that seagull out of there so that our surface radar would work. So naturally I was never scared of heights, so I volunteered to go up. Well, needless to say, that was my first experience going up, and that was my last one, because I volunteered going up and I got out the headphones as you go up the staff, or if you wear a pair of earphones and you talk to the captain down below. When I got up about halfway, I just stopped there and held on for a while. And he kept saying, "What's the matter, Fred? What's the matter? What's the matter, Fred?" Finally I told him, I said, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on up or not." So he talked me on going on up to take it, the seagull out of the radar. So when I come back down, I told him, I said, "Well, that'll be the last time I volunteer to go up there." And he said, "Well, you don't have to volunteer the next time. If we need you to go up," he said, "it'll be a command." And we were put in tents, 6 in a tent, 3 on each side. And my buddy let out a scream the one night, and I jumped rolled out of my bunk, and here was a trench down through the center of the tent where the water come down and rinse it. so we all got wet, needless to say. We did get hit by the kamikaze one time. I was in the 5-inch gun mount. I was the captain of the crew. He hit the 5-inch gun mount, and I reloaded, just fired again, but if I had a chance to fire it would blow the whole thing up because he broke the breech back. And he went around a suicide against the ship. Of course, the flames were shooting up all around the 5-inch gun mount. We didn't know what to do, so the only thing we could do, because it's all metal, thick sheet metal around it, so we climbed up on the sides of the walls up on the gun mount. Each one of us, it got hot enough in there where the soles of our shoes were kind of melted. We all got blistered feet. But needless to say, our fire crew was very active and immediately put the fire out, so we got out of that. We went from there to borrow. Our ship was down in the water. We thought sure we was going to go under, and the fire crew saved us.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
Yes.
About how many do you think?
We got hit pretty hard that one time. I'd say we lost somewhere between 20 and 30 all during the war. Most of them were buried at sea. And the buried at your sea, they sew you up in a big canvas bag. They put aboard our ship, they put two 5-inch projectiles at your feet. They dress you in full uniform if you have one. Then they have the service top side, and then when the service is over, you're on a big long board like, and then just slide you off into the sea.
Did you keep a personal diary?
Yeah. I was real lucky during World War II because I had a real good buddy of mine was a radioman. He kept printed out of reports on all the radio messages that come and went. And I asked him one day could he save me a copy of them. And they come out after World War II that some of them artists and everything that had the message this was top secret and confidential. And if anybody had anything, they could be court-martialed against the law, so I burned them. They never did get a hold of me or anything. But he gave me messages and stuff that he shouldn't have given me. But he was a real good friend of mine. I wish now that I kept him, so I could have wrote a book about the experiences.
Did you get along with your captain?
I sure did. He come from the ranks up. He was a lieutenant. Cochran was his name. If it had been for him, I don't think any of us would have come back to the States. He knew how to handle that ship and just exactly what to do when it needed to be done. And when we got in that typhoon, we lost 2 destroyers out of our squadron one night. And we fought that typhoon for 52 hours. And that's, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's just like a wall of water, like a big building coming at you. And you have to roll right straight into it. If the ship gets sideways or something, it just rolls it, and you sink. That's it. So he stayed right behind me the 52 hours.
What was the food like on the ship?
Well, some people complained about it, but let's face it, it was all good, clean food and everything else. It wasn't like a big high-class restaurant or anything else. So I can tell you one thing, one meal during the week time, believe it or not, we had baked beans and donuts. Then it served down in the mess room, and that's where I was in charge. I had what we call mess cooks to serve the meals. The Navy is one of the cleanest places anybody could get into. They believe in cleanliness. They believe in cleaning up everything, and you never worry about your meals being dirty or anything. Everything is completely spotless all the time.
Can you describe the geography of the region where you were stationed in the Pacific?
Well, in the Navy during World War II, you were supposed to change stations every quarter, or every 3 months. We went from Guadalcanal up to the shores of Japan during World War II. We took all the initial islands back that the Japanese had took, from the Solomon Islands all the way up to Guam, Saipan, Tinian. We were all over the Pacific. We helped take the Philippines back. We worked with it, and that's got all the medals as far as different engagements that we had during World War II. My last duty on the ship, I had my time come up with the war was over, and we were working with the minesweepers in the Gulf of the Yangtze River in China. And I was on 5-inch gun mount. I was on the 20 millimeter. I was on the quad 40s. And I got put on the helmsman. That's where you drive the ship. We actually guided the ship. I was on that for 1 full year. Of course, in the Navy, your helmsman, you got on our ship, we had a 3-inch wheel, big round wheel. It's like a steering wheel in the car. It's got the little notches, and that's what you turn to this hydraulic, unless you lose power. And then when you lose power, then it takes power to turn it. You have to go back to the fantail, and that's back there where the guide portion where the engines is at, and that's where you can guide the ship a lot easier back there.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
I wrote her every chance I got. My mother and Max, we were engaged before we went, but tried not to get married because we didn't know what was going to happen. So I wanted to get back to the States, hoping to get back to the States for the Christmas. But we had trouble, so we took a troop train from the East Coast up to Chicago. We got to Chicago on Christmas Eve. The train crew put us on a sidetrack and went on home for their Christmas. So it took about 4 hours for them to get another crew to take us up to the Great Lakes. They took us up to the Great Lakes. We got, they had a Christmas dinner waiting for us. And we had Christmas dinner, and then we mustered out the next 2 days, and that's when I got out of the service on 28th of December, 45. So that made me late to get home for Christmas. We got married right after I got out of the service. I think I got home the 28th, and we got married January 4th.
Was there something special you did for good luck before battle?
Yes. Prayed